Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Dave Strohmeyer Saddle Up Shooting. I'm your host. Well, I did it again. As you all know, or maybe you don't know, but if you've watched a lot of my videos, you know I have a weakness for auctions. And up came this rifle, and I didn't need it, but I wanted it. And I ended up getting it for about 60% of retail price. It is a used rifle, but according to the gun store that I won the auction from, he said the previous owner had maybe 20 rounds through it. Well, I checked the barrel and everything, and that seems to be true. So come back in a moment, folks, and I'll let you know what rifle, I'll let you know what caliber, cartridge, combination, and eventually we'll get out and get to shooting. So come back in a moment. Okay, I did a recent community poll on YouTube and asked people if they knew what this rifle was. And I was surprised that quite a few got it right and guessed it. This is a Tikka T3x Ace game version with a medium contour fluted barrel, 24 inches long, and a nice chassis type system. And I'm pretty excited about it. Well, I don't know that much about Finland. Like I said, this is a foreign-born situation, and Tikka is part of Seiko, which is part of Beretta. I don't quite get that. But anyway, you know, Finland is a great country. They are the heretical enemies of the Russians. They had the Flying Finn, Matti Nykänen, that dominated downhill skiing for, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 years or whatever. 64 medals in World Cup competition. I mean, unbelievable. And I certainly liked watching him fly through the air, and he was an absolute masterpiece. You know, going anywhere from 300 to 800 feet in the air. Think about that now. Well, maybe the Flying Finn applies to this rifle as well. Okay, so you can look up the Tikka T3 Ace game all over, you know, the internet and get, you know, people who talk better than I do and describe parts better than I do. But then again, you know, let's just take a look at it. I know you know that I like chassis rifle systems, and this is Tikka's new system that they just came out with in 2025. It's fully aluminum and it's lightweight. This rifle weighs 8.5 pounds without the scope, so it is a hunting rifle. It is kind of set up pretty cool. It does have an adjustable comb, and with spacers you can adjust the length of pull. The trigger is, you know, you can set it. I think it's right about 3 pounds right now. A vertical grip, etc. It has an ARCA, full-length ARCA length rail on here, so that works out pretty good. It is threaded, and I will be adding a muzzle brake on here, but not for its initial testing because of the scope that I have on here. I got this scope for, you know, I'm ashamed to say, for $150, and it is a 7 by 35 by 56 scope, so I'm kind of interested to see how it works. Now, the internals I sort of messed up because I wanted to take out the zero stop completely. I don't necessarily use the dials, and I definitely don't shoot long range when it comes to hunting. My range is about 400 yards. And this rifle in 22-250 ought to be just a straight shot with no more than 6 to 9 inch drop at that distance. But anyway, I took it off, and the dials wouldn't work. I had to put it back on, and I'm not sure whether or not I messed up the internals, but we're going to find that out when I get it out to the range. So stay tuned for that, because that's where we're headed. It does have a little bit of a thumb shelf here. I don't use that. Most of you that watch me know I use what's called the gunfighter grip. I really like to hold that rifle into my shoulder, not to have it loose. I like to know the rifle is there and secure. I did put these spacers in there to extend the length of pull, and I guess I can order some more. It's still a little bit short for me, but it was kind of a worry here putting that in because of these inserts that the screws have to go in. And if you put in too many spacers, the screws aren't long enough and you have to order different screws. It does have its own proprietary, Tikka does have its own proprietary magazine, a single stack magazine, and I'll be looking forward to that. I think this is probably just a 5-round magazine, and that's all I need really for hunting. If I don't have it in the first couple of shots, well, all right, it has M-lock slots, and the difference between this and the Target model, the Target model is heavier and has a heavier profile barrel and has 7 M slots, or 8 or 9. I don't really remember. This one here has 6 M-lock slots that you can see that you can put attachments on, and I will be putting an attachment on here for a sling, because it does look like on the stock over here and up here, but real close, a flush cup. But I want to put it out here so that I can pack it around. The safety is, it's a safety. It's a 2-position safety. It looks good, I think. It's a 2-position safety. Let's check. Yep, just a 2-position safety, and when it's back, the bolt is locked, okay? So on fire, the bolt is okay, but back, the bolt is locked. I guess some people sort of like that. It would be a good way to know that your rifle's unsafe. The bolt is supposed to be what Tikka is famous for. It's supposed to be ultra smooth. It looks like it is. I don't hear any noise. It is a fluted bolt to knock down on the weight. But we'll see how it handles the 22-250 ammunition that I have cooked up for it, and whether or not that's copacetic. It looks like with this 56mm objective, I've got pretty good clearance here, so I ought to be all right. Well, let's go through why I went with a 22-250 Remington instead of what everybody thought it was going to be, which is a 22 Creedmoor. It's real simple. I'm familiar with the 22-250 for over 30 years, and it is the one that I have, a Remington Model 700 BDL that you might have seen in some previous videos. Very, very accurate. Shoots 3,500 to 3,800 feet per second, depending on just 2 bullet choices, 50 grain and 55. And because this barrel is only a 1 in 14 twist, it's not the 1 in 9 like most people think. It is designed for those small, legacy-type bullets designed for the 22-250. Also, I load for the 22-250, and it's the easiest I ever had to load for. I have one load, 38 grains of H380, and it works. Why chance it? I did go to a 50 grain using Varget, got about 200 feet per second faster, but I don't really believe that I'll be using that because the 55 stabilizes real well. Now, back to why I didn't get the 22 Creedmoor that a lot of you thought I should have gotten. Well, it's a new cartridge, and there's still a lot of information that's feeding out there. Also, the ammunition is not plentifully available like it is for the 22-250. When more companies start making the commercial factory loads, then I might be interested in it. But I have the 22 ARC that shoots the same grain weight bullets as the 22 Creedmoor. And if you've watched my 22 ARC video, you saw that out of a 69 grain bullet, I was getting close to 3,200 feet per second. Whereas a 69 grain in a 22 Creedmoor is around 3,600 feet per second. Well, I don't need that. I like those short little situations. Back to the 22-250 Remington case. That Remington case, 22-250, is not designed for those long and lean bullets. I imagine if you have a faster twist barrel, you can probably load for them, etc. But the bullet because of the constraint of the overall length, has to be set so far into the case that I'm sure that's where you lose velocity and probably stability. So I'll stick with what I know, just like most of you would probably do. That's why a lot of people stick with Ford, Chevy, or whatever all their entire lives and never try another vehicle. All right, well, I think I've said enough. I'll get this adjusted here before I go out. I'll probably bore sight it right here in the house and get out and start at 25 yards first to sight it in, then move out to 100 yards and let you know how it shoots. And I'm hoping it shoots because that's what they say. So stick around, folks. I'm headed out. See you soon. All right, I think I've got it zeroed in now. I'm going to have to get a replacement scope. I'm going to have to send this one back because this Tikka has a 20 MOA rail. And for those of you that know that anything that has under 50 elevation adjustments, you bottom out. So you need to have 60 to 80, a scope that can do 60 to 80 adjustments so that you don't bottom out. Now I disabled the zero stop ring to be able to get it to get as low as I could go. And that's still as low as I can go. So let's go ahead and see how a 3-shot group straightens out. I think I let this thing cool enough, but I'm really disappointed in this scope. Even though I got it real inexpensive, it's supposed to have 40 up and 40 down, and it doesn't because of that zero stop ring. And it won't let me adjust it down to get below the bottom of the zero stop ring, if that makes sense. All right, here we go. Okay, it looks like I hit the bullseye. Let's see if I can get a 3-inch group out, or a small group, 3-inch group, a small group out of that. All right, get the bag situated, get everything ready. There's 1 inch to the left of that. I got a pretty good mirage. It's about 90 degrees today. And I'll shoot these 3 and then chronograph the next 3 so that you can see it. But that barrel is white hot. Simply because I've been shooting a lot. Okay, it looks like 2 out of 3 was right there. Alright, I'm going to completely let this barrel cool down now, and I'll shoot another 3-shot group so that you can see it. Be right back. Okay, we're going to do the last 3 shots here. Disappointed in the scope. I can't adjust it, but it won't use the locking turret, the locking part anymore, so it just turns freely in there, which means that, you know, the 0 point could change because it's not locked in. All right, I got the chronograph on. These are 55 grain Hornady VMAXs. We're going to see how fast they are right now and see how well they group. I marked that same target there just a second ago. So let's see how it goes. I got the scope all the way up to the highest power. Okay, I think that last shot was on me. But the barrel is, you can't hold it. It's very hot. And I let it cool down for 20 minutes. It's still hot because it's 100 degrees. Okay, folks, that last shot was 36-36, which is faster than my Model 700 Remington. But they both have a 24-inch barrel. All right, the next time I'm going to have a different scope, and I'm also going to put a muzzle brake on here. So hopefully that'll improve everything, but I'm not disappointed with that. Okay, folks, give me a thumbs up. Check your subscriptions, please. Leave a comment if you will. But no matter what, as always, truly, may God bless you all. See you again next time. Goodbye.